All rise. Please be seated. All right. Good evening, everybody. We are in the 15th day of case number ZG416525518 in the child abuse and neglect trial, State of Florida versus Sonia Heitman Clementine. Today is Wednesday, the 13th of December 2023. Tonight, we have 4 witnesses who are willing to testify. Kieran, Johman Abraham, Savannah Myers, and Kieran Thompson are planning to testify against the defendant. We will begin with Kieran. May you please come to the podium? Please raise your left hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Can you please state your name?
Ni hao Kailan.
Okay. Please be seated. Kailan, can you please state your date of birth and how old you currently are?
My birthday is on September 30th, 2011, and I am currently 12 years old.
Okay. Can you please explain what you have thought about the defendant since she started abusing these 24 students?
Well, even though I got to leave summer school on June 23rd of this year, Mrs. Clementine was still very rude to me. For instance, whenever I did something bad, like when I put my leftover vomit in the sink, she yelled at me for doing that, but fired Mrs. Call for kicking me in the stomach. She's a hypocrite for that, because she said that violence is not tolerated, yet she punched and spanked my friends for spending time in juvenile detention. And also, when I accidentally swore for getting a red card, I told her that, and she doubled the time of my suspension for doing that, yet she swore at other students before and after that. Again, that proves she's a hypocrite because she tells us to not swear, yet she swears herself. Thank God I never got juvenile detention, and I am very thankful that I improved my behavior, and I'm very thankful that this woman is no longer the principal. I'm also happy that I don't need to have any more IEP meetings since I have improved my behavior, along with Savannah, Kieran, Owen, and Brittany.
Just a quick question before you go back, what punishment would you like to have the defendant receive? Would you like to see her receive the death penalty or receive life in prison?
I think she should be put to death because she's obviously a hypocrite, and a hypocrite like her should get the death penalty. Hypocrites should not get life in prison for abusing students and being a hypocrite. Thank you again.
Thank you, Kailan. We will now hear from our second witness, Johman Abraham, who plans to testify against the defendant. May you please come to the podium? Please raise your left hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Can you please state your name?
Johman Abraham.
Okay. Please be seated. Johman, can you please state your date of birth and how old you currently are?
My birthday is on June 9th, 2010, and I am currently 13 years old.
Okay. Can you please explain what you have thought about the defendant since she started abusing these 24 students?
Well, as you know, I was one of those 24 victims who Mrs. Clementine abused. She forced me to drink extremely spicy milkshakes, forced me to stand in a freezing cold shower, refused to let me use the bathroom, punched me in the face and spanked me in the butt for not holding my bladder in, and then trying to force me to wear the wrist, stomach, and ankle monitors during my time in juvenile detention. And whenever Dora, Little Bill, Viviana, Dominic, Avi, Stephen, John, Christian, Eamon, Kendall, and Senahid caused trouble, she would still make me fail, even if I didn't do anything. I always failed every subject because of Mrs. Clementine. Why couldn't I get an A, B, or C? Maybe even a D. That is ridiculous, and she needs to be punished for giving me and my friends Fs in all of our subjects despite not doing anything wrong. It is completely unacceptable, and I want her to also get the death penalty for doing all this to me and my friends. I can't stand her anymore. That is all.
Johman, thanks for testifying. We will now hear from our third witness, Savannah Myers, who plans to testify against the defendant. May you please come to the podium? Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Can you please state your name?
Savannah Myers.
Okay. Please be seated. Savannah, can you please state your date of birth and how old you currently are?
My birthday is on July 18, 2008, and I am currently 15 years old.
Okay. Can you please explain what you have thought about the defendant since she started abusing these 24 students?
Well, like Kieran said, I got to leave summer school on June 23rd. However, after we left along with Kieran, Mrs. Clementine had gone way too far on punishments. One of the students had told me that she had forced them to drink spicy milkshakes, forced them to take freezing cold showers, refused to let them use the bathroom, got physical with them for peeing and pooping on the floor, and made them stay for so many hours a day in juvenile detention. And when Sinahit and John had to go to the hospital for what she did to them, I started to pray for them because I wanted to make sure they would survive. I did not want them to die because of what Mrs. Clementine did to them. And even though I wasn't there for this, I'm very glad all of the students beat her up for her actions. She definitely deserved it, and I want her to rot in hell for what she has done. I also want her to be executed for what she did to my friends. I do not want her life to be spared because she is going to repeat the same thing over and over again. Thanks for having me testify today.
Thanks for testifying, Savannah. We will now hear from our final witness of the day, Kieran Thompson, who plans to testify against the defendant. May you please come to the podium? Please raise your left hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Can you please state your name?
Kieran Thompson.
Okay. Please be seated. Kieran, can you please state your date of birth and how old you currently are?
My birthday is on November 7th, 2012, and I am currently 11 years old.
Okay. Can you please explain what you have thought about the defendant since she started abusing these 24 students?
Well, after me, Kieran, and Savannah got to leave summer school, Mrs. Clementine has been nothing but rude to all of the students for no good reason. Forcing them to drink spicy milkshakes, forcing them to take cold showers with 25 bags of ice in the bathtub, not caring if they freeze to death and get hypothermia, forcing them to wear body monitors during their time in juvenile detention, prohibiting them from using the bathroom for any reason under any circumstances, punching them in the face and spanking them in the butt for not being able to hold their bladders in, and then giving them 10.5 hours, 19.5 hours, 24 hours, 72 hours, and 237 hours is the worst types of punishments I've ever heard of. Then telling them to stop crying like babies, and telling them they won't escape juvenile detention because she wants to discipline them as absolutely cruel punishments. And when they all beat her up for doing all that crap, it was a good thing that she broke both her legs, because she definitely deserved it. And I definitely want her to be sentenced to death for what she did to these poor young kids. Please do this because she is clearly a danger to society. Thank you again.
Kieran, thank you for your time. Alright. We've concluded the 15th day of the trial. We will resume tomorrow, when Nisha Sharma, Olin Miller, Brittany Kane, and Mary Stevens, will testify against the defendant. Prosecutors, please bring her back to jail. Court is now dismissed.